In this video, we're going to go over the different alert options with the Toolbar Pro. You have alerts pre-built into all of the market geometry lines individually, which you can find in the Properties menu of the Floating Toolbar Pro. Now, this is a beta version that I'm showing here. In the next version, 3.0, you'll have the same type of alert system. So when you scroll down to, it's about the middle of the Properties menu, you'll see the Trend Channel Alert. This may be named a little bit differently in the 3.0 version, but you'll see the subheading just named Alert, probably, Alerts. So you have an alert for the split of the auto line, for a touch of the auto line, a break of the baseline, touch of the baseline, a touch of one of the fib lines, which is controlled by this percentage button, the black percentage button, which draws in the A, B, C, D symmetrical type moves with the fib extensions. You have the median line touch, which is going to control both the upper, lower, and center median lines. The midline touch, which is the center line of the trend channel, a touch of the shadow lines, the distance, which is right now set to 1/4 of the average true range, so a quarter the size of a bar. Essentially, when price gets within a quarter of a bar size from the line, you'll get the alert. You could set that to 0 so that it has to actually touch the line. You could set this to ticks. This may be a little bit different in the 3.0 version, and I'll make a new video for that when it's released, but for now this is the way it is for the 2.7, 2.8, and 2.9, and the 2.10. So the update interval is not something you need to mess with. It's just going to check for an alert every second, and that's fine to leave as is. Now, the user line touch is for applying the alert using that A button, that dark red A button, to any user line that you've drawn in. Now, the warning line touch is going to turn on the alerts for every warning line as soon as it's touched. So in order to activate any of these alerts, you have to turn them on. You can set them to sound, email, or both sound and email. So I'm going to turn all of these on to sound. And of course, if you want to get texts or something like that, you can set it to sound and email. If you want to get both the sounds and the email, which will also show it in the alerts window. When you set your email in here, you could rig up your email to send you some sort of a text message when you get an email from the toolbar. And all you have to do is type in your email here. You don't have to set up the NinjaTrader email server in order for this to work. This is using my own server to completely bypass Ninja's kind of problematic email alert system. So all you have to do is set your email and then turn on these alerts to email or sound and email, and then you'll receive emails. I'll go ahead and set up emails as well so that you can see how that works, and I'll set mine to row@trade-plan.com, and then we'll turn all of these on to sound and email. And I'll set this to 10% of the average bar size, and then we're good to go. Now, this alerted chart focus, when you set that to true, what's going to happen is if you have, let's say you have a workspace with 100 charts, let's say you're using, an hourly chart or a 240-minute chart, and you're drawing these in on every single chart, what that's going to do is when one of the lines are touched on one of the charts that's in the background that's hidden, that chart will then pop up and become the active window. So that's what that is for. If you're watching multiple markets on the same workspace, that can come in handy. So I'll go ahead and click OK, and now we'll go to the ES here and run this in Market Replay so that you can see how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in my channels here. Let's do this. I'll draw in the A, B, C, D extensions with the fibs. so that now when we come back and hit this 61.8, we'll get an alert, and probably get an alert right away when we touch the midline and then come back and touch the center median line there. So let's go ahead and press play, enable this, and let me turn on the alerts window as well. And here is the alerts window. I'm going to make that always on top so that it will stay on top. Now, if you're trying to apply the user-defined alerts to these lines, that's not going to work because the alerts are already built into all of these lines. So if that's how you're trying to apply alerts and you're having an issue, that's why, because it will not allow you to apply a user-defined alert to any of these lines because they're already pre-built into them. So if you want to draw in a user-defined line and apply an alert to that, or even a horizontal line, then you can use the dark red A button for the alerts, and you'll see that the ends of these lines will become highlighted with a box, a square, and then you can click on that, and now you have an alert on that line and a user-defined alert on this horizontal line. Let me put in one a little bit lower here. If you try to move these lines after you have applied alerts to them, then the alerts will be disabled. So you do not want to try to move the lines after you've applied alerts to them. So let's box this in and then applied alerts to these. Now there is another button for disabling alerts, but that's somewhat redundant for me. That would be this button, alert disabled. And you can see it's just a dark red X. But you do not really need that because all you have to do is simply delete the line and the alert will be disabled. So now with all of the alerts enabled, let's go ahead and run this forward, and then I'll bring up my email as well so you can see how that works.
User line touch.
And you can
user line touch.
Probably hear that a little bit. So we got a user line touch here and then another one right here. And up here at the top of my screen you can see how the alerts come in. TTP trend channel alert, and then it will show you a line touch on which contract and which chart and at what time and price. And there you have it. So now as price moves down, let's see if we get an alert from the midline or maybe that upper median line.
Midline touch.
Okay, there's the midline touch. Now this is in replay 20 times and the alerts are updating every second. So because it's going so fast, you know, it's checking every 1 second interval, so it may not find every single one of these since we're moving price so quickly, but let's see. There's our new alert, and that's a midline touch, you can see here. So the emails work perfectly fine, and of course you can set those up using some other add-on for your email account to
median line touch,
to send yourself text messages if that's something you want to do. And there's the median line touch, and so on and so forth. Once we come back, if we come back and touch the baseline, you'll get a baseline touch alert, and it's going to tell you
median
which
line
chart
touch
that's occurring from within the alerts panel
user line touch
as well, the alerts window. There's another user line touch as we come back and hit that black line. Let's see if we get the baseline, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up for this video on the alerts.
median line touch,
Another median line touch. One more tick and we'll have the baseline touch. There we go.
baseline touch,
And if we break it, then we'll get the baseline break alert as well.